Hello everybody, it's me, Bets Golden. I'm here with Rinea foil paper. First of all, I would just like to say I apologize for the light that is on my camera right now. It is not going off. I can't seem to change it in the settings. I did have the overhead light on, but it was just too overbearing against the beautiful foil paper. It is a overcast, dreary, cloudy day outside, rainy, and my natural lighting that I have in my craft room is non-existent. So I'm doing this with the best that I have. I wanted to show you guys today how easy it is to create a flower with Rinea foil paper and just hearts. I went ahead and cut my hearts out on the Scan and Cut, but you can hand cut them. In fact, if you go over to my channel, Bets Golden, I have a video that I did of creating these same flowers, but I did not have access to my Scan and Cut because my craft room was being remodeled, and so I had to hand cut them, and I ended up really liking them because they were not perfect. They weren't symmetrical like nothing in nature is. So what you're going to want to do, regardless of if you use a Scan and Cut or if you hand cut them, is you want to start off with the smallest. You're going to start with 3. And then, so this is 1.5 inches. So I did 1.5 inches right here, 3 of those. And then I did 4 at 2 inches, 5 at 2.5 inches. And then there should have been 6 at 3 inches, but I ran out of space, and this will work just fine. My mat is seriously beat up, so I'm not... And I'm saving all of this, you guys, because you can do cool stuff with that. So I'm really actually kind of shocked that it held as well as it did. It's not holding normal paper, but it is holding the Rinea foil paper just fine. I need to get a new mat. So once you get all of your hearts cut out, go ahead and just put them all in piles together. I'm going to go ahead and just get these. And I believe that this is the fuchsia. I will have the direct link to this color that I am using down below. If you want your heart to be, your flower to be bigger, you can actually start with a bigger centerpiece and end with a larger, with a bigger heart petals at the end of it all. And you'll get a really full flower. So there's lots of variations to this. The fact that I'm wrinkling up my paper, I don't care, because I'm going to literally wrinkle it to death when I make this flower, and you'll see why. I do have this on the blog. This is one of my first blog posts from years ago. I actually did do a step out on this, but sometimes it's easier just to see. So that's why I'm doing it here. So I have my small ones to start with, and then they gradually go up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hole in the bottom of each of them. So you should have, to do this, 3 of these, 4 of these, 5 of these, 6 of these. Sometimes I start them at 1 inch, sometimes I start them at 1.5 inches. It all depends on the size of your flower that you want to create. Now I'm just going to take my crocodile and put a hole in the base of my hearts, like that. Like so. And the beauty of this type of paper is you don't have to punch these one at a time. You can totally do what I'm doing and just punch them all together. And it's perfectly fine if it's not dead center. This is not a craft for the perfectionist at all. All right, so from here, you're going to take a brad and you're going to lay it upside down on your workspace. Okay, so you want the prawns facing you. You're simply just going to start with that first set of petals and lay them out in a circular motion like so. And then you're going to go on to your next set of petals and lay them out in the same fashion. And we're just going to keep building our flower. This is so easy and the effects look beautiful. Now, if you wanted to do some variation, you could flip and do some gold leaves in this as well. You know, you could rotate between the two. That would be pretty. And again, I really like these hearts hand cut. It does take more time, but it sure has a pretty effect. All right, so as you can tell, it's not like perfect placement. No, everything is evenly distributed there. You know, it's not. It's a flower. We're copying something from nature, so it's not going to be perfect. We don't want it to be perfect. All right, so from here, you're left with this. Now we have to crumple it up and make it look like trash. And this is the part that, you know, makes everybody really worried, but this is what gives the beauty to it all. So you're just going to take and you're just going to start crumpling from the inside, and you're going to work your way in. What this is going to do is just think of it like you're creating the flower and going back in time. You're going to, you know, make it before it blooms, and then we're going to have it bloom, which is really cool. And, you know, if you want to tear some of these leaves as you go through, go for it. The more crumpled up, distressed it looks, the better. And we are just folding it over inside on itself, like so. If you wanted to run this through an embossing folder, you could. That would be pretty as well. It would be a lot of texture. But by doing this way, it also allows for your, it allows for the 3D effect to happen. All right, almost done. I know you're like, why are you doing that? It looks like trash. Don't worry, it's supposed to. Okay. All right, so now we have our little flower. It needs to bloom. All right, we need to let our flower bloom. So we're going to carefully start to pull back these petals that we just did this to. We're just going to start to pull them back. And you can resituate it as it goes if you don't like the placement of one. You know, you can move it around. It's not set in stone. It's set in foil, so it's movable. And we're just going to keep pulling them back. And I am not being gentle with this. I don't want to be gentle with this. As you get to the center, you can decide if you want to fully reveal the center or if you want to kind of have it bloom in on itself. Okay, so you could go back through and you could just tighten this up a little bit if you wanted to, or you can really widen it out and you know, have it lay a little bit flatter. It all depends on your project. It all depends on what you're going for with the look of your flower. All right, so we're almost to the end here. And then I'll go up and kind of fluff it out in spots, move my petals around to my desire and my liking. Okay. And see how that just comes to life and you're left with just this really pretty flower. I always like to get, if I can get the bottom pieces worked out, usually the rest of it really does just fall into place for me. Now on your centerpiece, you can leave the brad there. It's kind of an elegant little centerpiece, or you can drop a, you know, a resin flower base into it, or a pearl or something like that. It just depends on what you like and what you're going for. Or you can, you know, have it go back in on itself so it's not quite fully bloomed yet too. Okay, so that is how you create a flower with Rinea foil paper. If you want to see the blog post that I did, head on over to the website. It's over there. And also, please make sure that you follow me, Bets Golden, on my YouTube channel, because I have some other 3D projects like this as well. And then you can always find me on my blog, which is Bets Golden. Instagram, Bets Golden. I'm just Bets Golden everywhere. It's BETZGOLDEN, and this was with the Rinea foil paper today. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Until next time, happy crafting.